President Donald Trump announced on Thursday that a nuclear agreement already signed with Saudi Arabia is totally subject to the kingdom joining the Abraham Accords, which would create formal diplomatic ties with Israel. In a television appearance, Trump said the United States would move forward with the Saudi nuclear deal only if the kingdom participates in the Abraham Accords, which formalize relations with Israel. The new requirement has already raised concerns. Saudi officials have repeatedly said they would not recognize Israel unless a clear pathway toward a Palestinian state is instituted. The condition could become a serious barrier to the agreement. Critics of the deal have argued that tying the nuclear agreement to a diplomatic accord could complicate the already contentious Middle East diplomacy. They point out that Saudi Arabia has not yet agreed to recognize Israel, and the kingdom insists that any recognition must be linked to progress toward Palestinian statehood. The nuclear pact, signed last year as part of a broader effort to bring Saudi Arabia into the network of countries that engage with the United States on energy and security issues, involves the United States agreeing to supply the kingdom with nuclear fuels that can be used for civilian purposes. President Trump indicated that the agreement would be shelved if Saudi Arabia does not join the Abraham Accords. The Abraham Accords, which began in 2020, were designed to normalize relations between Israel and several Arab states. The requirement to link sanctions to the Abraham Accords sparks debate about the role of nuclear policy in diplomacy. Those who oppose the deal argue that it may undermine the United Nations Security Council resolution that calls for a two-state solution. Others see it as an opportunity to strengthen ties in the region. The United States has already declared that it will continue to discuss the nuclear matter with Saudi Arabia, but the Trump administration's statement signals a shift in the administration's approach toward the kingdom's foreign policy objectives. The move comes amid widening scrutiny of the American government's position in a complex area where security, energy, and geopolitics intersect. In the wake of Trump's comments, Saudi officials released a statement reaffirmed that they have not yet agreed to recognize Israel. The statement also reiterated that Saudi Arabia would not enter into a formal relationship with Israel without a concrete plan toward establishing a Palestinian state. This position echoes statements from Hussein bin Turki, the Saudi interior minister, who warned that the kingdom had no intention of recognizing Israel without a Palestinian solution. Meanwhile, the American people and the international community await further clarification from both leaders. Dr. Michael Smith, a Middle East policy analyst, observed that the nuclear deal's new conditionality could pivot the region's diplomatic landscape and that the timing of the Saudi accession to the Abraham Accords will be critical. Whether or not the United States will follow through with the nuclear allocation remains uncertain, but President Trump's remarks have cast a new light on the delicate dance between nuclear agreements and broader diplomatic outreach. For now, the Saudi nuclear cooperation agreement sits at a crossroads, waiting for the kingdom's stance on Israel and on the path to Palestinian statehood. That's all we know right now on this developing story. Lavender. Thank you for listening. Stay tuned for further updates on major global headlines.